Greetings, dear friends. We are happy to welcome everyone on ALLATRA TV. And today we continue to talk about the Creative Society. The Creative Society is a unique project on the platform of ALLATRA International Public Movement, in which people from more than 180 countries discussing how do they see the world they would like to live in. And for more interesting videos, you can visit our website, ALLATRA Unites. And also, I would like to remind that in our live conversations, we are testing the theory of six handshakes, which says that every person in the world is connected to any person through five or even less social connections. And today, our broadcast is actually the proof of that. And I would like to welcome my co-host, Subhatra Rajendra, who was our guest around 1 week ago on ALLATRA TV India. Greetings, Subhatra.
Yeah, thank you, Anya. Good to have you.
Yes, and we would like to welcome our guest.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to introduce our guest of the day, Ms. Tosin Joel. She is a geoscientist working as exploration project manager in a multinational energy company in Italy. She also owns a various role as a life and career coach, and she is an innovator. And she has hosted a Fireside chat series, which is getting the best out of life GTBL 2020 this year. And she is one of the nominee of the most influential women of African descent. I am very proud to welcome our chief guest, Tosin. The dice is yours. We wish to have more from you today.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
thank you. And I would like to ask you first question. You are so socially active person. You conduct many events and you unite many people on your platform. So could you please say what inspires you in all your activities?
Sure. So basically, a very big motivation factor for me is definitely seeing other people do well. I am an addict at making things happen for people, so I really like to see other people do well. This is one of my motivational factors. And also the fact that, growing up myself, I had many people help me. I would not have had chances that I had if people had not given me a lot of chances. So this is why I'm so committed to see people do well and helping people.
In your opinion, how to achieve success irrespective of race and inequalities? And what condition should be created in the society so that every person can develop or show their best skills and talents?
Well, those are two great questions. Well, the first question, how to get success in life irrespective of your limitation or supposedly limitations. So first of all, I will say get out of your head because everything is here. If you think about it, we are the limitations that we set for ourselves. I mean, basic limitation border around, oh, I'm a girl, should I be doing this? Oh, there's no one that looks like me in the room. Get out of your head. Once you can get out of your head, you can do anything you set your mind to be, irrespective of your race, your social economic status, or your background. For the second question, what can the community do? I think that many people need to talk about this. So talk the talk and walk the talk. This is how we can reduce inequality and give chances to everybody. People need to talk about it more. People need to acknowledge it more. And people need to do something about it. So it's a nice thing now that with the sustainability development goals of the UN, there are very key factors there in reducing inequality, in empowering women, in empowering people at large. I really appreciate this. And many companies are doing that. So we need to keep going this way. We need to keep talking about it. We need to take actions towards this. So companies need to take on board people that are different from the normal. So it's also your role as a manager, hire or take on someone that doesn't look remotely like you or anyone in your team.
Thank you.
That's great. It's an incredible answer. And thank you, Toshin. Here comes the next question for you. How do you find yourself influencing your world? It's the world influencing you, or you want to be an influence for someone?
Well, that's a big question. I mean, so I think it's a combination of the two. I mean, let's face it, if you are in the world, you also have to have a little bit of influence of what is going on. So let me be clear. The actions or the inactions that you do are a reaction of what is going on around you. So meaning what we do indirectly, it's following the law of initial, everything stays in a state of rest until there's an external factor, applied to it. And that follows up with Newton that, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So every action and any force you see outside is reacting to someone. So for me, I influence my world, but this is a reaction of what I see. I'm proactive, but I'm also reactive.
Thank you. It's really
That's a nice
wonderful. Like,
thing.
yeah, like action speaks better than the words.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, what is happiness in your opinion? And is it a matter of circumstances of your own choices?
Well, this is a rather interesting question because I was just talking about love last week. So, in my own definition, happiness is a state of calm and tranquil where you have peace of mind, where you don't have to worry. And this borders on many things, is a state of fearlessness. One is a state of you having peace and confidence in yourself and not worrying. Is a state of being bold to do what you want to do. So I gave it a three principle, which is FSL. So the love being, you have assurance and affirmation, you're in a very and being. Fear, you're fearless, you don't fear anything. And S for seriousness, you don't take yourself too seriously. So all of these cumulate to a state of happiness, total tranquility, of well-being.
Yes, thank you. I really like it, like it's everything coming from you. So you decide to be happy and you act towards that. That's really
Exactly.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I also would like to ask you, as I was mentioning, you meet many different people from different countries, different areas of activities. And in your opinion, with all your experience, what unites all people in the world? What all people have in common?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, there's a fundamental need of everyone in this life. So everyone wants to feel heard. Everyone wants to feel accepted. Everyone wants to feel affirmed. What everyone seeks is affirmation. Think about it. If you have a child and your child says, "Oh, mom, today I scored a goal," and your child says, "Oh, wow," and you say, "Wow, that's fantastic," the person is happy. You're talking in the office with a colleague or your friend, and the person is saying, "I am doing like this. What do you think? Do you really think I should do like this?" So everyone is seeking affirmation in one way or the other. This is what binds us together. We want to feel affirmed. We want to have tranquility, and we want to know that what we are doing is okay.
Thank you. Yeah,
That's
so,
wonderful answer.
yes, Subhatra, would you like to ask some other question?
Yeah. Since you come from a geoscientist background, this is more relevant to you. What is the role of a geophysicist or a geologist in service of mankind? And how do you see this development of science with respect to our creative society?
I think that that's a very loaded question. And thank you for asking that. Because sometimes, when you do a role or you do a particular job, you take it for granted. You take it for granted because you do it every day. So the kind of job I do, just to break it down a bit, I'm in the energy industry, and my job is to look for oil or energy source. Now, this is a solution for many people. Think about it. Wherever you have this medium is working because we have energy to power it. So energy in form of lightning, energy in form of charged battery. All these energy source are coming from somewhere. So my job is to make sure that we find that kind of energy. And in this way, in these days, that will be sustainable. Without my job, you will not be able to move from your house to the hospital to get the treatment from the doctor you want. You will not be able to power on your heater in the winter. In other words, you have a very low quality of life without my job. So I think that my job is really beautiful, and it solves a lot of problems. And I'm really happy to be a part of this big picture. That's it. So the role it plays really simple. It makes people have a very good quality life.
Thank you. It's
That's
really
great.
wonderful. And when science and all areas are working towards making really life of every person better. And here comes the question, how do you see this type of society, creative society, when everything is done towards improvement the quality of life of every person, and actually every person in the world feels comfortable and happy? How you see?
I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. I think you have to get it out there what you do more. I always say that to solve the big problem of the world is to start from each person. So as you do contact tracing these days, you have to do contact tracing also of happiness, of goal setting and objective in life. If each one can watch out for each other, I think that we are going to have a very wonderful life. We're going to have a very wonderful quality of life. So people need to be more aware about this, and people need to be more intentional and conscious about what they're doing.
Yes, and maybe you can imagine how would you like to see this society, how maybe some spheres would be functioning or something like just imagine the world where everyone.
That's a really good question. So you are asking me to describe heaven. I will try. So, the world that I will really imagine is a world where everyone is contented, but we know that this is very tough and hard to. So, it's a world where everyone will have an inner sense of satisfaction. When you need to love not from the cup, but from the source. If you have a deep sense, every single person around has a deep sense of fulfillment on the inside. We'll have a much more balanced society. So when everyone is balanced on the society, that is number one problem to be solved. So
Yeah.
this is how I imagine a very nice creative society, a world where everyone is very balanced on the inside, and this automatically transmits on the outside because everyone is calm and they have the necessary things to ensure the psychological needs are met. You remember Maslow, when the basic psychological needs of human beings are not met, people are not able to pursue intrinsic properties. So they're able to pursue intrinsic properties such as wellness, they are not able to pursue also higher needs on the hierarchy. When psychological needs of people are met, then people are able to actually deliver and pursue other goals. So, where imagine this world is a world where psychological needs of people are met.
Thank you. It's really wonderful. And when we're talking about this world, also, here comes like we need to unite by one goal and to understand how we see that, right? And as a result of many interviews and social polls which were conducted by participants of ALLATRA movement, we have framed the 8 foundations of creative society. So I just would like to read them for you, and maybe you would like to comment on all of them or maybe some of them. So these foundations are the human life, that life of every human is the highest value. Human freedom, which says that nothing can violate the freedom of human and everyone is born with right to be a human being. Then human safety, transparency and openness of information for all, the creative ideology, development of personality, justice and equality, and self-governing society. So maybe you would like to share some your comment on these foundations or some of them.
I think that it's really beautiful. I mean, if we can tick all these boxes as a community, we will be having a wonderful, a wonderful world, to be honest. So let's start from human life. I told you, when you hear of strange things happening everywhere, when needs like psychological needs are not met, people are not able to value the life as such. And sadly, we have disasters and accidents happen as such. The same thing about the quality of life, the same thing about inequality, the same thing about all the values. It all boils down to each individual. Each individual has to be intentional, consciously work towards having a very stable foundation. Because when you have a solid foundation, every other need is achievable. So I put them as one goal on top of the pyramid. While we try to climb on top of the pyramid and achieve our highest form of self, we need to satisfy the basic needs, which is, mental stability, which unfortunately is challenged now because of COVID-19 in many people. So when we are able to pursue all this, which I think that the movement you're doing is wonderful. I have a friend that does also she does mental healing, wellness, she does yoga and meditation, and I think it's fabulous, it's fantastic. Because when you're able to satisfy this part of your need as a human being, every other thing on this table you are able to pursue it, including freedom, including safety, including creativity, including personal development, justice and equality. You are able to pursue everything. Everyone wants to be heard. So creating an environment where everyone feels heard, when everybody feels that their opinion counts, and when everyone is encouraged to pursue the intrinsic stability of their psychological needs, in that way, we're able to maintain a very balanced and creative society. To cut it short,
Yeah. Thank you, Toshin. It was a brilliant answer. Stating that, I just want to hear from you. Say, example, if we implement all these foundation, the creative foundation of creative society, in your opinion, what do you think? What changes will be in the society if we implement them in the world?
I think that if the needs of people are met, it really makes the life of many people easy. I mean, you are changing the world in big words. If you're able to do all those things, you're going to change the world. And it's really beautiful because it's one of my mantra, change the world, one person at a time, because you cannot change the world just as a whole. The world is one big matrix. To change the world, you have to start from the bits and pieces, fixing the people, fixing the system, then you can change the world. And I think you can do it. We have to keep on this fire, this awareness going. Let people know what you're doing. Let people know what this is about. Let people commit to it and let people be conscious of it. It's beautiful. It's only this way we can generate a lot of waves, but we can do it and we will do it.
Thank you. It's actually so powerful words, you know. And as you said, we can do it only if everyone will start. Yeah. So it's like I like one quote is like act locally and think globally, and then actually this change is very much possible. And here you just now said like we need to tell people about it and so on. So how important you think to ask people how do they see this society, how they see world they want to live in?
The first thing is, many people are doing with a lot of things. So because people are doing with a lot of things, it's not really easy It's like, okay, I quote the analogy of Alice for you, Alice in Wonderland. So Alice saw the cat, the Chester cat, and Alice said to the Chester cat, "Do you know which way I should take? Because I think I'm lost." And the Chester cat asked Alice, "Where are you going?" And Alice said to the Chester cat, "I don't know." And the Chester cat said, "Well, it doesn't matter which road you take because you don't know where you're going to." So the first question is that people need to know a mission and a vision statement. When you have a mission and a vision statement, you can start working consciously towards it. So for people to be involved in this, we have to make people think about intentional methods of where they want to go to in life, what they see their future to be, what kind of environment they see that. Once you realize that, you can start working on it. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, and this wonderful answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, but from your microphone, I guess.
So that's a final question from me. As we are testing this theory of 6 handshakes, whom would you like to invite for our next conversation to
Wow.
talk about the vision of the creative society?
That's a really good question. So I have two actually. You want one? I give you two. Then you can decide. So the first one will be Libby. So Libby
Mhm.
Robinson. She's based in New Jersey. So Libby runs, and this is why Libby runs a company, and one of the projects that the company just developed is Backfeed. So basically, what Backfeed does is that it allows you to get feedback from people. It also helps you to structure it in a way that it can be received in a very wonderful way. So feedback is actually a blessing, not a curse, which many people, especially millennials, want to get more of. Not just every day, maybe, but they want to get more of. People will work with people that will give them quality feedback. So what Libby does is that she has this company and she has this software that many company uses. So I think it would be really worth to talk to Libby about the creative society, what she thinks our role should be. Then the second person I want to recommend to you is Lisa Sibilia. Lisa Sibilia, it's really beautiful because she has a company called Utopia, and basically what she does is to honor the person at the forefront. So I think that Lisa will be very happy to be a part of this, and she will have a lot to give back in front of people. She's involved in projects that will help kids and revolutionize the way that kids learn, which I think is really beautiful. And she's worked in the past with Walt Disney. So yeah, those are two people I will recommend to you.
That's great.
Yes, thank you. And we will be happy to see you also with us to know their opinion about creative society.
Of course.
So I think my last question would be, so would you like to live in a creative society, and what do you think everyone can start with to make it?
Well, I start with the last question. So what can everyone do? Well, I think you need to knock on your next door. So without traveling 1 mile, you have to go who is next door to you, and you have to start from the person. You start right at home. The change you want to start with you. So you start to make that change.
Thank you.
And the second question, would I like to live in a creative society? Absolutely. I mean, creativity is what got us here. Is what got us any new invention we have. Creativity is why I can have this pen to write with. So, of course, why not? I want to live in a balanced environment where everyone feels heard, where everyone is happy, and where everyone can think and innovate. This is important for the future.
Thank you. That's really
Very
wonderful.
Thank you.
So thank you for, for me today, I got so many wonderful thoughts to think about from your words and so many powerful messages. So I'm really grateful to you for this conversation. And it was
Thank
really
you.
wonderful.
It
Well,
was
thank you
very.
for
It was
having
our
me.
pleasure.
Sorry?
It was a pleasure to have you, Toshin. You are like inspiring as usual.
The
Thank you so
pleasure is
much.
all mine. Well, thank you to you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I would like to say to our viewers that if you would like to know more about the Creative Society project, so please visit our website ALLATRAUnites.com, where you can find a short form, join us, fill it in, and we will be happy to hear everyone in vision of the Creative Society. So I'm grateful to all, and thank you for being with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Hania. Thank you, Subhasra. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Toshin. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.